In the fall of 1862, a few gentlemen met together in the horticultural gardens, which is now Allen Gardens, to consult as to the best steps to be taken for the erection of a church, a want much felt in that part of the city. After fully discussing the matter, it was suggested that the chapel in St. James's Cemetery, lately erected, might for the time meet the requirements of the church people in the locality, and that the Reverend Dean Grasset be requested to grant the use of it for the purpose mentioned. On being applied to, the Dean cordially approved of the movement, and having appointed the Reverend S.J. Body, his assistant, to be the first incumbent, he caused the chapel, which had nothing in it, to be filled up with new pews and provided with everything that was necessary for holding divine service. In March 1864, it was decided that a new church should be built, and a plot of land was bought from Alan MacLean Howard, which together with a plot from Bleecker Street enabled a plain church holding 400 people to be built. It was named St. Peter's Church by Mr. Body. The cornerstone was laid on August the 9th, 1865, and the new church was opened by the Bishop of Toronto, John Strawn, on the 10th of June, 1866.
I found they were one of the most welcoming parishes I've ever served. After 20 years of ordination, you get to serve in a lot of places, and everybody thinks they're welcoming. But this is one of the few places it is, really is. And welcoming in a sense that more than just being there to give a bulletin and ask for envelopes from, they provide things, like if we're having a lunch and somebody's new in the congregation, first thing after the last hymn, they're there offering to take them to lunch and pay for their lunch.
And when I first came to this church, I just fell in love with it because the congregation are wonderful.
When you come here, the people are now what's the word?
Accepting.
Yes, they welcome you then, yes. You seem that you can fit in right away, and you're just comfortable.
Yeah, it's very comfortable, yeah.
You know, because the church is beautiful with the stained glass windows and so. And it's a place that you're welcome. Everybody is welcome here. Nobody is rejected, no matter who they are.
I got very involved with the church, doing Christmas dinners and mystery dinners and funerals and you name it. So I really enjoyed this church. And everybody is so nice here. If you've been here on a Sunday, when it comes to the peace, the whole church gets up and goes around and shakes hands. I think that's wonderful.
To which, when you enter this church, you focus on that cross, and you really have a sense of peace. It's so open, it's light, so I found it very uplifting.
We have all the scouts. We have cubs, beavers, and scouts that run out of here, and we invite them to be part of the service since I came. They take part. They come with their colors. They do the prayers. They write the prayers and give them. They do the readings. They do the sermon. They really take over, and they once even did some singing. They sang a song while we did communion. And the only complaint that they had ever about the services was the time they were singing. It was during communion, which meant they couldn't have communion. And so they asked if they could have communion before they started singing after that. We have a couple of 12-step groups that come quite regularly every week, and they've been meeting for years here, and it's a safe place for them. Dixon Hall, yeah, they rent the facility, everything but the worship space in this building. They have a lot of things for seniors, like bingo, exercise. They do massage. They have somebody come in and do massage for seniors. They do calligraphy. And they do senior and Alzheimer's daycare and run all sorts of programs for them. They have patients, especially with the Alzheimer's folks. One day I was in my office, and one of the staff was standing outside the men's room with one of the clients. And he asked 8 times where they were and what they were doing. And she just answered him like it was the first time, every time.
It's the kind of feeling that when you walk in the door, you suddenly feel at home.
They're amazing folks, they really are. I hope they can teach St. Simon some of that stuff.
Well, I'm going to miss St. Peter's. I'm sure all the members, they're going to miss St. Peter's.